Hello and welcome to today's presentation of Cvent's platform. We'll be giving you a full tour of end-to-end with everything, where you can start, where you can grow from, and how to maximize your relationship with Cvent and make sure that the platform is powering your program to its full capacity. My name is Michael Weber. I'm a director of sales as part of our enterprise division. And we'll be leading today's presentation. Before we get started, let me give you a little bit of background on who Cvent is. We've been in the marketplace for 25 years, 4,900 strong, and are essentially the most comprehensive meeting and event ecosystem out there, with over 7 million events managed since 1999. And so what we're going to cover today is a number of different things, but as I mentioned, it'd be important for us to go back and really talk about where we've been so that we can understand better where we're going, right? And so event professionals, obviously our lives have all been changed by COVID-19 and some of the impacts that started on some of our business, right? But regardless of whether you are running a single event format like the tab on the left there, or running multi-event formats, Cvent is here to support you, right? To support your process, to support your program, to support your stakeholders in your organization. And that is an important factor to remember as we're going through this, something about a total event program and the best way for us to support you through that. So an important question for us to start with is, how can Cvent help you deliver on growing expectations? The marketplace is ever changing, and it is important for us as event professionals to stay at the bleeding edge. So before we go any further, let's pause, ask ourselves an important question. How can Cvent help you deliver on the growing expectations that your stakeholders, audience, customers, and prospects are bringing to the table every single day? We want to ensure that we're giving them the kind of delight and special experiences that they've come to expect out of you. So let's take a quick look at a video, which will take us through what a total event program could and should look like. So as you just saw, right, your program is specific to you, but Cvent is there to support your program, whatever it looks like, right? So before we dive into specifics, I want to highlight Cvent's flexibility here to support you. Whether you are running a single important individual event for your program, like a sales kickoff or a user conference or an event for your CEO, or you're looking to manage a full total event program, Cvent is to support you regardless of the type, size, or location. And as we move forward, we want to make sure that we are driving a personalized, curated experience, right? Something to impress your attendees, to help you stand out from your competitors. And that's why you engage with a Cvent who has, or a company like Cvent, who has the kind of experience and depth and breadth to manage whatever kind of a program you've got, right? Most organizations start with some sort of a front door, right? A meeting request that often has an approval process through that, right? The idea here is that you are empowering not only you and your stakeholders who have to manage the process thereafter, but the field, where often these processes begin. This kicks off a workflow and will drive through a process here to ensure that folks feel enabled and informed through that process. Access portal allows not just your power users, the folks that are in Cvent every day, but those stakeholders and executives to be able to run reports, extract event data, see appointment calendars, travel policies, etc. Give them access to manage that, but stay out of the weeds within Cvent. We also have modules that help you manage speakers, right? Something that we commonly hear are some of the challenges in ensuring that speakers feel empowered, on time, on schedule, and prepared for day of, regardless of the format, whether that be a digital format for a virtual event or in person. Right? Cvent's there to ensure that those logistics and tasks are on spec and on time. And taking another slice at this or another view, in addition to helping you manage speakers and the intake process, often a venue is of uber importance. And for many of your local events or things that are nearby, you often have an understanding of what is right there in your backyard. But as you all know, two different things are common. The marketplace changes, right? New hotels, new venues, new experiences pop up in your backyard on a regular basis. Additionally, many of us are sourcing way above and beyond what our local expertise is. And so Cvent's supplier network is the largest single library of venues and experiences globally. You can quickly build and send RFPs, compare prices, and find and source other providers like AV and transportation right there for you. And so once you've secured a venue, you want to now ensure that you are designing your space to continue to delight and create the kind of experiences that your attendees are looking for. I'm just going to walk you through a quick video on what it would look like to use Cvent to diagram your space. All right, so let's level set for a moment because we've seen a lot already. We've talked about the way in which we can grab intake from the audience. We can start to source venues that are out there. We can help manage and collect data and information to be shared with stakeholders and speakers. And we've even talked about how to diagram our room. And that leads us to one of the next key phases, is streamlining the room block management process for all of us, right? So using Cvent's tool Passkey to manage your room block is really the next phase for many of us. We want to try and remove the onerous Excel spreadsheet, email, phone call process, confusion that can happen for our audience, and make it a streamlined, easy process, again, to empower your attendees to work through that process on their own. So you can create custom booking websites that easily integrate with your event registration, reduce errors, and improve attendee pickup. One of my favorite pieces for Passkey, because my family and I like to do this, is tack on some additional stay either on the front end or the back end of the trip. So shoulder dates can be built right into that process if your attendees are going to a location that they want to spend some additional time, either again on the front end or the back end. You can also build and design incredible event websites. So for those of you who have been customers of Cvent for a while, this is often one of the first places that you touch and feel our platform today. For those of you who are not familiar, this has been a core competency of Cvent for the entire depth and breadth of our 25 years in the marketplace. And so that the latest evolution of that process allows for incredible website design through a drag and drop interface, live preview as changes are made, and incredible control over the design and styling that is representative of your brand and what you're trying to communicate out to the audience. You can use things like theming or CSS built into that. Obviously, the beauty of this here is that you don't have to also go in and recreate the wheel each and every time that you are building a website. Much of this can be done, templated, and then reapplied for future events for a similar look and feel. Additionally, these websites are responsive. They look great on any device, whether that is desktop, mobile, or otherwise. Additionally, you can leverage our tools to help highlight your sponsors, and we're going to talk in the next couple of slides on some of the event marketing tools, as well as the way you can help highlight your sponsors and ensure that they feel empowered and a part of the event as well. So every event starts with communication, and Cvent's powerful event marketing automation is ready. It's ready built into your event management. So if you're running a multi-channel marketing tool that includes social or email, websites, or partners, Cvent is there to support that process. And we want to use some intelligence built into that to help you retarget and ensure that your message is following along with the behavior of your event prospects and attendees. So using some of that intelligence, we can create populated forms or email or notifications that respond to somebody's behavior. So for example, we want to ensure that the right message is going out to the right audience. When somebody says yes, let's send out some information to keep them moving through the process. If they say no, that's okay. We can collect some data and information through retargeted questions or some remarketing for regrets. Next, through personalized outreach, taking this just a step further, again, we want to help you stay on brand and curate the kind of experience that you're looking for. So using Cvent's email marketing tools, we can create personalized emails, segment messaging by attendee types, and drive the kind of experiences from the beginning that your audience is expecting through you. Additionally, you've got most likely complex audiences through your event. So if you want to create the right kind of experience for each of your different audience types, you can use that through limited visibility, registration paths, which are dynamic to different registration types. And frankly, table stakes here, but pre-populate personal information for all of your attendees based on your registrant list or your address book, which may live within Cvent. Registration details are meant to be common throughout the process as well. So as folks move through that process, whether in a digital format like this or through a mobile experience, which we're going to talk about in the next few slides, it should feel personalized with session recommendations, a personalized schedule, and something that helps them feel a part of the event from the beginning, right? Certainly there should be a room for genericized event level messaging, but that extra level of personal communication and experience is what will set you apart from your competitors. So moving further along here, we've spent a lot of time in pre-event, and now we're moving towards an on-site attendee experience. And Cvent is there to help you create better in-person experiences. As you all know, because we're in the events business, that first moment is the most important. So we've got powerful tools that can help power that kind of experience for your audience from the beginning, using contactless event check-in and batch printing, session capacity management, unobtrusive RFID tracking, all to be displayed for you and your stakeholders with active updates, real-time updates in a dashboard setup like this. As I mentioned on the badge printing, we can create the kind of branded experience that we're carrying through from the earliest moments of your event all the way through to this process. There's a lot of badges out there, and the right kind of badge should not be something that's out of your reach and should be able to be printed right there. So Cvent's advanced printing allows you to, again, create that kind of experience right there for your audience, whether that's simple black and white or to large format, which we're looking at here on the screen. And as I mentioned earlier, Cvent's mobile app powered by Attendee Hub is for a connected event experience. Unlike many other providers that are out there, this is built right into our platform. So as I mentioned, when that event starts early through that intake or collection process through our meeting request form, all of the data and information and work that's done to create that kind of event experience that you're looking for carries through our platform. And so much of that branding, feel, and experience and personalization shows up right here within the mobile application. What you come to expect with Cvent is here built into this web app as well, or this mobile app as well. Push notifications, which can be sent out to individualized audiences or individuals, or on the large scale if you need to communicate writ large. And most importantly, help folks engage with content, with each other, and create the kind of special curated experiences that they need. As I mentioned, great attendee experiences should not just start just on the registration side or with the venue, but they need to be carried through from the content side. As I mentioned, notifications are a great way to power that process, interactive maps so that folks feel empowered to explore your floor, and we can open discussions through the activity feed to help curate those kinds of unique crowdsourced experiences that you can't get elsewhere. The Attendee Hub allows you to extend that engagement, right? So we talked about ways to connect audience. Now we can connect content or humans to content and audiences to content, not just on pre-event or during the event, but certainly through post-event, through things like post-event survey and feedback, on-demand sessions through our video library, continued networking, and future events through our event calendar. And as we've all come to know, virtual solutions are not just something of the past, they're here to stay. And Cvent's virtual platform breaks down into two primary categories, right? Webinars, which we're all familiar with and have been in the marketplace for a long time, and virtual events. And those can look like a number of different things. All of that is supported on an on-demand basis by Events Plus, a video library and content library available to all of you, right? But ultimately, we want you to be able to plan and execute those events from one platform, right? We've also got complex studio broadcasts and collaboration tools, Simulive, to power whatever kind of virtual event you're looking for. All right. So most importantly for many of us is the way in which we can connect exhibitors to attendees, attendees to attendees, and sales and marketing back to attendees as well. So Cvent's got a number of different tools that allow you to do that. We're going to focus in on appointment scheduling for those attendees as well. So we can offer exhibitor sponsorship, return on investment calculations here back through appointment, whether those be virtual appointments, pre-scheduled appointments, or one-to-one meetings, which help foster connections back to leads, sales, or brand awareness. With the help of this technologies, attendees can view their schedule, make informed decisions, and connect with the folks that they want to connect to. So taking a look here, this is what the interface would look like through Cvent's mobile application. It's a large attendee list. Those folks have got their own profiles. We can set up opportunities for folks to connect, not only through one-to-one messaging, but impromptu appointments, either set there in person or in advance, as we mentioned. So engagement doesn't just happen between individuals. We also want to curate attendee engagement at the session level, right? So just like today, where you've got Q&A and chat on the side of the page, we've also extend that to other sessions as well. So what you're seeing on the left-hand side is a poll that can be run, a game center for gamifications throughout the process, and then topic-based chat to help engage folks where they are around the topics that they're looking to discuss. All of this drives data and information into your event to allow you to do a number of different things. Create a better event for next year, engage your audience where they are, or ultimately create leads on the backside of this. Additionally, it allows your audience, again, to continue to feel connected and a part of the event that you've worked your collective butts off here to make a wonderful experience. So moving forward to exhibitor and sponsor. So you spend, again, a lot of time, energy, and effort working with these sponsors to create the kind of experiences that they're looking for. And part of this is to ensure that they feel incorporated in the process. So we want to ultimately give control for those folks to be able to run the kind of experiences that they're looking for and maximize their exposure, whether that be through virtual booths, one-to-one meetings, or the ability to serve up documents and media back to those folks. All of that can be done with self-service tools through our exhibitor portal. Those folks can help themselves to register booth staff and assign licenses out, see what is out there for them still outstanding, so you can create tasks for those folks. They can manage appointments and access leads in real time, right? For most of us, the return on investment calculation that's built for our exhibitors and sponsors is tied directly to leads. So gone are the days where you need to manage that process for them on their behalf, deliver those leads at some future point. All of that's managed real time in the portal by the exhibitors and sponsors themselves, giving them the power to execute on their sales and marketing motions. Narrowing the focus here again to leads and lead scoring, whether that be virtual or in person. Cvent's lead scoring tools help folks capture leads real time right there, right? That's, as we all know, as event professionals, as sales professionals, marketing professionals, that moment is the most important moment when you are shaking hands at the booth, on the floor, and making some sort of a connection. So using our tool real time, you can rate leads, insert notes, and create the kind of sales motion that is important for all of us, right? So that we can make informed decisions about those leads. Ultimately, that allows you to score those leads and create the right kind of follow-up thereafter. Many of our customers make decisions about where those leads go, right? If a lead rises to a certain score, that might go directly to sales. If it doesn't, still needs some warming up, you might move that onto marketing for further information. Okay. And these are just some examples of real-time actions that can be taken right there on the floor. You can serve up additional information, add in additional notes, or create appointments with those folks right from the same interface. And at the end of the day or at the end of the show, you've got right there in front of you at the user level or rolled up at the admin level a view of what has actually transpired. You can go back, edit those notes, edit those leads, make additional changes, or be able to report on right there what each individual has collected and what those leads look like for them. All right, so we talked about front door, creating the kind of curated experiences that are required by our stakeholders, by our audience, in order to stay bleeding edge. Create digital experiences in virtual formats or in mobile formats for our audiences to connect back to content, back to networking opportunities, and connect to content over the long term, not just right there. And then most importantly, creating those delightful experiences on site from the first moment with check-in, badging, and all that. All of that is creating data and information and analytics so that we can make better decisions about what our event and event program looks like. So as I mentioned, Cvent really is a digital logging tool in many ways, right? Each tool set, each interaction, each moment creates a digital record. As you add more and more touch points across that process, either at the individual event level or across an event program, you're creating a much more fleshed out view of what that event did for you or did not do. How did folks engage with your content? And all of that score helps you make better decisions, better choices, and build better events into the future. Here's an example of our engagement scoring right here live. With this data collected, you can give engagement scoring to help marketing and sales teams, again, make better decisions. If Ted Danson here from Anheuser-Busch has got a 100% engagement score, that's somebody that we want to reach out to. Send them additional content, connect with sales, and move that conversation forward. Obviously, with folks with lower engagement scores, we want to make better decisions about the content that they were delivered or engage with those folks in a different way. Here's an example of what some of that live reporting can look like from a dashboard perspective. And again, all of this can be shared with your stakeholders through the access portal that we looked at earlier. So again, taking a quick look here, data and information should not just live within Cvent. Cvent's app marketplace allows you to collect data and information collected within Cvent out to other tools that are a part of your ecosystem, or from other tools that are part of your ecosystem back into Cvent. It's important to take a 360 view of what your ecosystem looks like and ensure that you are empowering all of those tool sets to do the jobs that they need to for you to create the kind of program that you need to. All right, so we focused a lot on events that we are responsible for and that we're hosting. Now we're going to pivot and take a look at the shows that we attend, trade shows, right? So if you're attending a trade show, we want to give you a quick introduction on the ways in which Cvent can help you empower that process. They really break down into two primary categories. Lead capture through iCapture. Tool helps you to streamline and automate that process regardless of where you are. So again, universally applied here, we want to help you avoid some of the pitfalls in using the show originated tools to collect those leads. We're going to dive into iCapture in a moment here. Same thing with Jiffle Now, automated business-to-business scheduling tool that helps you schedule, manage, and analyze the appointments that your group or your attendees rather are taking in person, whether those be virtual or there at the trade show in person. So diving into iCapture, this helps you, again, not just capture leads, but capture leads intelligently regardless of where you are, right? The beauty of iCapture is that we can create common data sets across all of the trade shows in your program, right? Ask similar questions or the same questions by business unit. So let's take the average organization, right? Let's say that you've got 5 different business units that are out there, and you each attend 10 trade shows per year, right? What we want to do is remove the silos between that data set for each of those different groups and ensure that you are not only creating better intelligence and automating that process wherever possible, but you're ensuring that you've got protected data and compliance. And most importantly, that information is syncing back real time back to CRM, whether that be Salesforce or your CRM of choice, back to marketing automation platforms for real-time follow-up or what have you. iCapture helps you, again, create standard experiences at all of your events, better data, better decisions, better leads. Speed to lead is the most important piece here, and that real-time integration is the real value. In addition to iCapture, appointments are a key part of the trade shows that you're attending, right? And we want to create, again, a seamless, standardized process for those appointments, not to just show up and be there, but to be leveraged in the right way for your audience. So Jiffle now allows you to manage those workflows in a standardized process. Again, connect that back to other tool sets or report right there real time within the platform, regardless of where you are, right? So we don't have to work through Outlook and work through that process. It's built right here. It's connected back to whatever calendar you're using as well, so folks can work either within the platform or out in other tool sets. We want to try and create quality and efficient experiences for everybody. So again, Cvent is here for the long term. We've been here for 25 years. We'll be here for the next 25. And we want to help you manage your total event program. And ultimately, that's driven by a dedication to service, right? We've got a 24/7 support team that's award-winning and focused not just on helping you solve the problem, but helping you avoid those challenges into the future, right? We've got a complete training program that also helps you empower yourself as well as your audience, or excuse me, as well as your team to deliver on the requirements of your program and scale to the level that you need to. We've also got professional services support where needed, right? So staffing concerns are prevalent all over the place, right? And certain events require an additional level of support. We're here to build the kind of program and support that you need for your events, wherever they are, whatever they look like. And finally, all of that is great, but if you're not compliant with whatever the latest requirements are, none of that matters. So Cvent gives you the peace of mind of knowing that your data is secure, both from a GDPR perspective, CPA, or any of the other constraints that you may have from a compliance perspective. Cvent is on top of that. We are SOC compliant, ISO compliant, and are really one of the key leaders in this. And we take this extremely seriously. And it is really a security first approach to the way in which we engage with you, your audience, and your data. And perhaps overlooked at some level, but certainly should not be, is our powerful community. When you join Cvent as a customer, you not just join great technology and great service, but you join the thousands of other folks who have come to trust our team and our technology. And our job is to continue to facilitate the power of that ecosystem and open that up to you as a customer, to tap into that knowledge, tap into the 25 years of experience and all the wonderful folks who are a part of our customer ecosystem. So before we wrap, I want to give you one quick view again on what we talked about, right? Cvent is there for you, whatever your event program looks like. We talked about a single event. But Cvent is there to scale down or scale up to whatever you're looking for, right? Here's an example of what a total event program could look like. Internal, external, we talked about trade shows. Cvent is there to help you support that process, whatever it looks like, across various different delivery models, in-person, virtual, hybrid events, webinars, whatever they look like. We've been here for 25 years, as I mentioned. We are going to be here into the future, and we are there to support you through your process. If you're ready to learn more, which hopefully many of you are, I'd also like to extend to you a $100 Amazon gift card. So please sign up for a demo with us. We'll pop the link into the chat. To any recipients that are outside of the US, the gift card can be converted from $100 USD to another currency available of your choosing. This is the end of the actual presentation. And so if you have to jump, thank you very much for attending. But we're going to stick around and answer any questions that you may have. And just as a reminder, enter those questions into the Q&A function on the right-hand side of your page. Thank you. Hello, everybody. That was great. Thank you so much for joining us, and for those who are here. We get a lot of questions, so I'm going to start right at the top. We've already answered a couple for you as we're going through. There was one that we pushed through about accessing the free venue directory. So I'm going to start with this one, and then I'll move on to the next one. So the answer is yes. You can actually do it right now. It's cvent.com/venues. That will drive you straight into our supplier network, which is free to use. There is additionally some paid functionality above and beyond that, which allows you to save templates, report in a slightly different way, incorporate national sales organizations, and generally move through a little bit more quickly. But for one-off free stuff, simple sourcing, the supplier network is available, free to use, as the largest venue network in the world. So look forward to having you all use that. If you have any other questions on venue sourcing, again, drop them into Q&A. All right, next question. Is it possible to get a sandbox? Absolutely. So as we all know, investments in technology can be some of the most important investments that we may make throughout the course of our career. They change the landscape in which we operate and have big, deep impact on the way in which our organizations go to market or improve processes, amongst many other things. And so testing to ensure that that workflows will work for you, or that connectors will connect Cvent to other parts of your ecosystem is extremely important. So there's sandbox functionality available to all Cvent customers, and is an encouraged process. We want you to test and feel comfortable with whatever you are implementing at any given point. Okay. Next question, and keep them coming in here. Okay, so we've got a question here about about venue diagramming, right? And the question specifically is, are we able to use venue diagramming for our own internal event spaces? Absolutely. If you are managing your own internal event spaces, venue diagramming is crucial and important to mapping out your own spaces, your own places, right? Often, many of us, we might be part of a large enterprise or another organization, and we have space that's generally reserved for our use, but it might also double as public use, or available to the public for utilization. So venue diagramming can absolutely be applied for that. It doesn't just need to be for hotels or other unique dedicated venues. It can be for your own conference rooms or your own multifunctional spaces within your own offices, or parts of your portfolio. Absolutely. Great question. Okay, on to the next one. Is it possible for different attendee types to have completely different experiences during the registration process, i.e. sponsors have a unique path versus a general attendee? Absolutely, right? We want to try and help you create the unique and curated experiences that are table stakes, frankly, for your events. Most of our customers use dynamic and unique experiences for various different registrant types or attendee types. Right? That's super common, and that doesn't just happen within registration. That carries through to a presentation like this, or to other ways in which you're engaging folks, whether that be through an event app for real-time, in-person connectivity between content or each other or sessions, all the way to check-in and badging and then follow-up thereafter, right? So that kind of, that level of tagging and audience segmentation is built into our platform from start to finish, and is built for exactly this. If you have deeper questions about this, or more advanced functionality that is required in your event, we'd be happy to talk about that with you on a very specific level as well, because I know some of these unique requirements can be very special to a given event or a given program. Okay. Can you have trade show emails, including literature, sent through the customer's owned tools, Salesforce, Pardot as examples, in real time during the show? This is a great question. So I talked about ecosystem 2 questions ago. Obviously, iCapture and Jiffle Now, 2 of our tools that are out there, bringing your ecosystem into another hosted events ecosystem, that's exactly what these are for. There is functionality to allow you to do that real-time workflow built out of iCapture, but through connectors and APIs into Salesforce or your Salesforce or Pardot, we could certainly explore this. Everybody's got their own unique environment, so we'd have to review that for yourself. But absolutely, right? That could be some sort of triggered action to drive some sort of activity out of Salesforce or Pardot based on that. Obvious caveat here is that if we are collecting leads in an offline or a disconnected from the internet function, which can happen, and that won't happen until that device or those devices that are collecting that reconnect back to the cloud, right? And then that load happens thereafter. But if there's connectivity in the space, which is very common for the most part, then yeah, this could be done real time, but we'd need to explore that and understand that a little bit more deeply from a connector perspective. Okay. Can Cvent provide on-site day of support for check-in and badging if needed for larger events? Absolutely. This is part of our core competency. The product set is called On-Arrival 360, which may ring a few bells for some or all of you. But yes, this is right there. If you've ever attended Cvent Connect before and checked in and got a badge from some friendly staff members, that is On-Arrival 360. But this is exactly what we do. We will ship hardware, and that can be printers, networking devices, iPads or tablets for the interface. Absolutely, we send that there, as well as badge stock and lanyards, unless those are supplied by you. And then we also ship the people, the folks, when generally we operate behind the scenes. As I always say, our most successful events in this forum are when your attendees have no idea that we're there, right? We're there just to kind of keep everything on the rails. Certainly we can staff that for you if you've got staffing challenges or the need for additional staff. But the idea is that we operate in kind of an admin, bumpers on the bowling lane, if you will, to kind of keep everything in line and move it forward, right? And then we tear it down, ship it out, and we're out of there without much of a fuss for anybody else. So On-Arrival 360, we'll do a custom quote for you if you have that desire or that need for your events. And this also mentioned large events. It's not just for large. I just want to remind everybody about that. I think it's more about large impact. You should be thinking about the kind of impact that you want to create for your audience at your event, not about size. Size isn't always the best qualifier for whether or not that should be a part of your event landscape or not. Okay. Next question. Let's see here. Okay. How can we demo webinar functionality in our team, and are there trials offered? So we certainly can set up a demo for you. It's an easy process. Somebody will be in touch with you after your attendance today. So if you're interested in seeing some webinar functionality, we'd love to walk you through that. Our trial functionality, we'd want to just discuss that and understand, what's in there. Obviously, both parties have to put in quite a bit of skin in the game in order to get a webinar spun up. So we want to make sure that it's a good fit for everybody without jumping in there, right? And so that's all part of our process, and we're happy to discuss that with you. But certainly a demo, we'll create a custom environment for you, walk you through what that looks like, and ensure that everything that we're bringing to the table meets your needs. Okay, on to the next one. Does Webinar Premium include Jiffle Now? So great question. Webinar and Jiffle Now. Jiffle Now, just as a reminder, is our that's our appointment functionality, our universal appointment functionality. These two tools are separate. However, we put them all under kind of one general category, which is about lead generation for the most part, right? And so they're often bought hand in hand, in addition to iCapture, and then things like Cvent Event Intelligence as an example for displaying the data, as well as APIs or connectors to connect these leads back to your ecosystem to be distributed out to marketing or sales for follow-up or further nurture. And so, yeah, we can put together a package for you that includes Webinar and Jiffle Now, but they are generally separate products, so you're not required to buy both of them at the same time. Though, as I said, many of our customers do because they meet similar needs and are part of a similar go-to-market strategy or process. Great question. Okay. All right, are there accessibility tools built into Cvent's platform? Absolutely, right? We are a global platform, and we want to be a tool set, or we are a tool set that's there to drive and meet folks where they are. And so there are a whole host of things. We looked at, there was captioning, live captioning today, just as an example, some of the accessibility tools that are available for that. We've got language tools, a whole host of other things that are a part of that. And so everybody's got unique accessibility needs. Rather than running you down the long list today, what I encourage you to do is to have a conversation, Drexler, with your Cvent rep in follow-up here, and we'll make sure to lay out a kind of run through or synopsis of exactly the way in which we would match against whatever your or your audience's unique accessibility needs are. And so we'd love to have that conversation with you. Great question. Okay. Can you talk about pricing? Can you mention the average cost is depending on what features we want to utilize? So great question. So Cvent, I'm not going to go into the specifics on pricing just because they change based on product or what your existing prices are or what have you, if you're a current customer or not a current customer, but I'll walk you through this. Generally, Cvent products are set up on an annual license basis and then some sort of a consumable underneath that based on usage, right? Certain products vary a little bit. Some of our products are just a license or user-based, but they all change and vary, moderately. Obviously, here's the best rule of thumb. On an annual license plus the consumables, your price per unit goes down the more that you purchase. So we provide benefits for volume consumption thereafter. So registration, common one, just to think about. There's an annual license, and then there's a price per registrant for event management. If you buy 100, it's price X. If you buy 1,000 registrations, it's some smaller number underneath that based on volume. That's a common market approach and are common there. Average cost, it's very difficult to say just because everybody varies or changes based on their consumption or products that they've got, but all of those things roll together. We're happy to talk through price, and the biggest thing for us is that we want to try and build a package that is going to best support your needs, right? Rather than load you up with a whole bunch of things that you're not going to use or not utilize. And so, as I mentioned during the webinar earlier, Cvent is really the platform for your events, whatever they look like, wherever they are, and whenever they are. And we want to build a price in the same exact functionality for you, right? So we'll come up with a custom quote for you based on whatever that is. So happy to talk further with you and follow up based on what your exact and precise needs are. Okay. So let's go through this. So referring to appointment scheduling, you can generate, I think this is supposed to say, can you generate new webinars from the page sign up? The meeting does not need to have a pre-existing date time in order to sign up for the webinar. Difficult to understand, but so I'm going to give it a best answer and then we can follow up with you a little bit more deeply. Generally, webinars, they can show up in a couple of different forms or functions for you. Obviously, a live webinar has a very specific date or time to it, right? Simulive, same thing, can have a specific date or time to them, but is not required. And then finally, on-demand content or evergreen content that you might keep in Events Plus or as something else that's out there available for folks into the future. Absolutely not. You can have that run continuously and available to anybody who would sign up and view that content. So just really depends on what kind of experience you're looking to create for your audience. And we'll go from there. So the answer is yes and no in that question. And it just really depends on what kind of experience you're looking to create. Okay. That is all the questions that have been asked. If there are any other further questions, please drop them in. We'll give you 2 or 3 more minutes here to drop them in there. Just hang here for a moment. Okay, so thank you again for attending today's webinar. I appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host and guide today through Cvent's platform. Again, somebody from Cvent will be reaching out, as well as there will be a quick survey which will be sent out to everybody. So keep your eyes peeled for both of those things. And thank you again for joining. If you have any other further questions, please direct them to your Cvent direct point of contact. Thank you so much, and look forward to connecting with you. Take care. Bye-bye.